Hello, one and all, and welcome to another episode of MMA Vision Analysis. This one, I'm here to talk about Conor McGregor and Conor's trainer, John Kavanagh's recent comments regarding the fighter. But before getting started, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and click that notification to get all it is that is new from this channel, your channel, the one and only MMA Vision Analysis. Conor's trainer, John Kavanagh, seems to be optimistic ahead of the fighter's long-awaited comeback at this point. Last time around, Conor was in the octagon. It went terribly for the fighter, which led to him being out for, I want to say, 2 to going 3 years now, probably a little more. I forget. The last fight with Dustin Poirier, it seems like it's decades ago at this point, to be honest. John Kavanagh seems to be very optimistic about the fighter. He seems to think that Conor is in great shape and is ready for a comeback. In all honesty, I would like to add a side note to that. You expect your trainer to believe in you and be the motivational figure in your camp. Now, that being said, there is really no way of telling how Conor McGregor is going to show up until the actual fight happens. With Conor, it seems like it's a hit or miss. But the entertainment, the drama factor is perhaps guaranteed. Me personally, I'm a huge fan of the fight. Conor McGregor is one of the reasons that I fell in love with the sport. He is a captivating figure. And he's a charismatic one as well, and that captivates the heart of people. I do understand that with Conor, you can either hate him or love him. Most people seem to love him, even the ones that hate him secretly love him. They just, I think, don't know that. That being said, me personally, I'm not quite sure about Conor McGregor at 34 years old, especially when he's set to go against a Michael Chandler. Regardless of Michael Chandler's blemishes, recently on his record, Michael Chandler is a top-class warrior. I mean, he showed that time and time again. Chandler reminds me a lot of Gagey, though the style is very different. Chandler's going to stand in front of you, and he is going to put Conor in compromising position when and if this fight happens. And I personally don't think that Conor, can perhaps withstand the pressure that the more active fighter is going to bring. And we're not talking about anything. We're talking about Michael Chandler here. Like I said, regardless of the losses, it takes nothing away from Chandler. He is a perfect athlete. I've said this about Chandler before. I think that Chandler is the perfect example of the mixed martial artist, at least of the current roster of fighters. I'm a huge fan of Chandler. And obviously, like I said earlier, it's very hard to tell how Conor's going to show up to that fight. But he's going to have his hands full with an explosive, dynamic, strong Michael Chandler that utilizes wrestling with tremendous, striking with phenomenal movement. So Conor is going to have his hands full. I think that Conor is going to be like a half a step behind Chandler, and it's obvious that Chandler is going to go in there, try to put Conor away in the least amount of time possible, and perhaps the same could be said for Conor. You can imagine that Conor is going to try to utilize those kicks, front kicks, with the shorter fighter, perhaps knees, flying knees, uppercuts as Chandler comes in. But I guarantee you, if Conor stands in front of Chandler long enough, it's either he's going to get taken down and dominated on the ground, or there's a high likelihood of Conor being knocked out. All respect to Conor, like I said earlier, I'm only sharing my point of view here, and I'm a huge fan of Conor. I'm a huge fan of the sport, and I really don't side with one fighter over the other. It's just I'm looking at this in the most logical way that I find possible and coming up with my conclusions that way. Chandler, being the more active fighter, is going to give Conor McGregor a hard time, regardless of what John Kavanagh thinks about his fighter. I do understand that you have to believe in your fighter. You have to, spread the positivity at the end of the day. But when it's fight time, there is nothing else except for the reality of the situation then. So how will Conor show up to this fight? I'm very interested to see. I'm not even sure if this fight's official yet. I'm just super stoked for a Conor comeback, and super happy to see him face a Michael Chandler. Will this fight happen at 165? So many questions around this fight, and I'm super interested in this fight. It's going to be dramatic and entertaining regardless, because I think the walkout alone from a Conor McGregor perhaps makes the night for a UFC card. If you made it this far, I truly appreciate you for sticking around. Please let me know what you think in the comments, and like, subscribe for more.